Yesterday was Tamir Rice's birthday. Now, Tamir Rice would have turned 18 years old yesterday. I'm sure most people remember that in 2014, 12-year-old Tamir was shot by a police officer at the park across the street from his house in Cleveland, Ohio. Tamir died the next day. His mother, Tamir Rice, told USA Today that the pain of Tamir's loss is still fresh in her mind. She wants her son to be remembered as a happy child with an infectious smile who liked to eat chicken nuggets, play video games, go swimming, and ride his bike around the neighborhood. It sounds like my son when he was 12. My son would eat chicken nuggets, play video games, and ride his bike. That's all he did too. I sympathize. All right, any parent would sympathize. Now, since her son's death, Samaria has traveled to colleges to speak out against police brutality. In 2016, she founded the Tamir Rice Foundation, which advocates for police reform. She told USA Today she couldn't eat or sleep after the murders of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. She said Rayshard Brooks' death reinforced her belief the police need better training. Now, she is also building the Tamir Rice Afrocentric Cultural Center in Cleveland. It will house after-school programs focused on tutoring, mentoring, arts, music, and dancing for inner-city young people. Now, I had recently spoke with Amanda D. King and Kelsey Carter of Shooting Without Bullets, a Cleveland-based art program that was created in response to the tragic murder of 12-year-old Tamir. The program is offered to teenagers and works to combat social injustices by providing an artistic outlet for Black and Brown youth. They also work with Samaria Rice and her daughter, Tahaje, who was with her brother at the time of the shooting. And let's watch a clip from our interview. What are you discussing politically with your students?
It started as a response to state-sanctioned violence after the murder of Tamir Rice. Cleveland has had decades of racial tension between the residents and the police. Police terror has been in Cleveland's legacy for a very long time, but we're looking at the contemporary moment. Right. And so when I started Shooting Without Bullets, the first response, the most immediate and urgent, was police brutality and the need for police reform, because we know that young people have the most interactions with police. Police are everywhere where young people congregate. They're in the malls, they're on the subways and trains, they're in schools, and most of our young people live in over-policed neighborhoods. But as soon as I hit the pavement, Tanisha Anderson and Tamir Rice were murdered that November, and ever since that, I've been boots on the ground.
You're also working closely with Tamir Rice's mom. Now, 5 years ago, Tamir was shot. He had a toy gun. He was 12 years old.
It's a toy. Yes.
A cop shot him right in the stomach, if I recall. And
yes, within less than 1 second.
And the sister got thrown in the back of the car. Well, she was handcuffed.
Yes.
Right. So you're working with them. How did you get involved working with them?
So when I started Shooting Without Bullets, it was a response to the murder of Tamir and working with young people to get their voices at decision-making tables. And I knew that this was a time where young people really felt the weight of the oppression, the weight of the system on them physically and emotionally. And so I knew that I needed to have some type of therapeutic and cathartic process for them also. And I knew at the time somebody who was studying art therapy. And so she was doing a project with Miss Rice, and she introduced Miss Rice to me and said, Amanda's doing this great program, you should consider Tahaje being in it. And Miss Rice said, I don't know. And I think one day Miss Rice had to go to court or something, and she needed to drop her off. So she came to the program, and it was all love. So
wow, so Tahaje's gone through your program.
Yes, she is.
How is she doing?
She's a regular teenager.
Really?
That's what I would like to describe her as. I don't want to describe her trauma. I don't want to put her in the box of somebody who is not going to be able to heal or who's forever going to live this moment. She's a regular teenager. She loves to laugh. She loves to watch TV. She likes to hang out with her girlfriends. Like, that's the Tahaje that I want the world to see. I mean, of course, she lost her brother in a very horrific way. She was traumatized by being handcuffed and put in the back of the police car. But as a young girl, I'd hate for me to put that narrative on her.
I'd like to say that, especially for Black and Brown youth and in Cleveland, trauma unfortunately seems to be such a normal part of everyday life.
So sad.
Yeah, we just learn how to move through it.
Right. How's Tamir's mom doing?
Miss Rice, she's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
She's a force to be reckoned with. She's not looking at just the individual officers, Timothy Loman and Frank Garnback. She's looking at the whole system. the whole system, from the prosecutor to the police chief to the mayor to city council. She's looking at all of them, and she's really strategically thinking about ways to attack and say, listen, no more children dying on this soil in Cleveland, Ohio.
Right. That interview was done, I don't know, at least 8, 9, 10 months ago, well before the whole George Floyd protest in response to the George Floyd killing. And it really goes to show that there were a lot of people who were organized and promoting police reform and bringing these situations to the attention of the public. And it just unfortunately took another killing to basically energize everybody to open their eyes to see what's going on here in the United States of America.
Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.